I'm getting out of here, pointing the Jeep about 800 miles west to do some exploring in a place I've never been to.
So a chunk of time had landed in my calendar just as peak summer arrived at the end of June. Given this gift, my thinking was to head out across Pennsylvania and then north to Michigan's Upper Peninsula and its access to the big waters of the Great Lakes. The first day, my aim was to cross Pennsylvania and set up camp somewhere in Ohio.
All right, you can see what we're dealing with here. Just had the door open for a second. We've got a horror show of bugs on the inside here. I'll go up with the lights off and close the hatch. We'll figure out the rest of it in the morning. I slept. That's all I'll say. Just gonna grab a little bite to eat and hit the road. Got a lot of driving to do today. At a rest stop on I-80 near Cleveland, and the wind's really kicked up. Well, it's certainly nice to make it to camp while it's still daylight out. We still got to log some miles tomorrow. We're just barely into the lower peninsula. We've got to get into the upper peninsula somewhere. Oh yeah, I kind of made fajitas without the bread. Those clouds are pretty dark. Figure just a couple more bites. I'll pack this away and get everything tucked into the Jeep. It's just a portable little pump, battery powered, because my jerry can pump isn't working. I did figure out a way to turn off the proximity sensing on the fob so that the front headlights don't go on and off. It's just a setting in the apps menu. So in the morning, I'll show you where that is. All right, gang. If the bottom of Michigan is a mitten, we made it to the crook of the thumb on Saginaw Bay. So thanks for hanging out today, and I'll see you in the morning. Is it called Pinconning, or how is it pronounced?
It's Pinconning.
Pinconning.
Yep.
Okay. So Pinconning, is it a state park or is it a
county park?
Pinconning County Park.
It is owned by Bay County.
So you want to go into settings down on the lower right. You want to go to doors and locks after you're in settings. First thing is sound horn with lock. I turn that to off. And flash lights with lock off. And I think the big one is there's a menu item called passive entry, and that was on. I turned that to off. If you do this, it'll be a game changer if you don't have this set up when you're at camp at night, because otherwise your lights turn on and off every time you close or open the doors. This is worth exploring along the coastline here for several days, but we're gonna push north into the Upper Peninsula now. Onward we go. Dang, this is sweet. This pin right here was in Gaia, and since it was on the way, I thought I'd come down and check it out. It's right off the main highway. Down, you saw a pretty rutted, overgrown 2-track. But man, this is the perfect way to kick off several days of exploring the Michigan Upper Peninsula. I got the Jeep turned around so my picture window looks out over the lake, and got it leveled out best I can. Luckily, there were already some rocks from, I guess, previous visitors in pretty much the right spot. Once you get away from the lake and the waves, those big trucks carry. The thing is, you can see how rocky the shore is, and once you go out into the water, those rocks are super slippery. So I'm just puttering around close to shore. I'm going to have the lamest cold dinner ever while I'm waiting for the sun to go down. I just have some tuna salad and some lettuce. This is all the entertainment I need. I don't need a fancy meal tonight. And yeah, just counting my blessings to be out in nature in a place as lovely as this. It's 8 o'clock. The long summer dusk. I set up the camera to do a time lapse when it gets darker. If I can get up around midnight, I'll give it a shot. One last check-in. It's 10:20 p.m. and just sharing with you the view out of the Ursa Minor overlooking the lake. Good morning. Before I went to bed last night, I checked the forecast and it said there was about a 50% chance of rain starting at 6 a.m. So I got up around midnight to pull on the cameras, and boy, I'm glad I did, because the rain started around 4 and wouldn't let up for about 3 hours. I had to pull in my sleeping bag and my pillows because they got a little wet from contact with the zippers of the Ursa Minor. So I slept in. And now I think I'm just going to wait here a bit and let things dry out a bit. The last thing to report on was the sound. When the lake noise dies down, you can hear the highway. So I would summarize the experience here as being on $1 million lakefront property, but also a truck stop. It's a weird combo. But if you want absolute serenity and peace and quiet by a lake, you're not going to get it here.
This guy's about to go for a ride. Good. Welcome to Munising. It's another one I have to learn how to pronounce.
I made it to the shore of Lake Superior. This is South Bay behind me, and that bit of land is Grand Island. Beyond Grand Island, it's just all Lake Superior for hundreds of miles. I just drove around town a bit, and I'm gonna go back and see what these pasty things are all about. They sound pretty good. How do you pronounce this? Munising?
Munising.
Oh, okay. Like it looks like.
Yep.
Pasty, gravy, coleslaw. All right, man, that looks good. I'm taking a reboot afternoon right now to clean up, wash some clothes. I have a few supplies I need, and just get ready for tomorrow. Today turned out to be super cold and windy, and so my plan of going out paddling on the pictured rocks was called off by the touring company. So I kind of had in mind 3 goals for this trip. The first is what I'm trying to do now for every trip, which is to find some interesting trails. The second one is to do some paddling. And third, I loaded up a backpack full of stuff for an overnight, and my thinking is before I head back to New York, I will do one night on Grand Isle, which is just a short ferry ride from Munsoning.
I never usually take naps, but I hadn't been feeling my best since the day before.
Oh, the sun's out. I'm a big fan of leftovers, and I still have a little bit of chicken and rice left over from day one, as well as half a pasty, which I'm very excited about because it has gravy. I'm still dogging it. Last I checked, I had a fever about 99.5. Fingers crossed, I can keep going for another couple days because there's more I want to see. This is a massive, massive wilderness area. Comparable to the Adirondacks, but with the addition of the power of the Great Lakes.
Oh man, that half a pasty hit the spot. And now I'll do a quick walk around of Perkins Campground. A lot of big rigs mixed in with some smaller tent campers. There's a nice little brook that runs through the campground. I'm staying right next to it. It's pretty much got everything you'd want for family recreation. Here are the bathrooms, showers. That tower was for the sawmill. I guess that sawmill made a lot of bowling pins. Perch, walleye, northern pike. Looks like a really nice recreational lake. Here's a beach, and looks like having a little gathering over there by the volleyball net. I'm going upstairs, but it's after 9. It's crazy. It would be definitely darker in New York. Well, I survived the night, but I'm feeling like dog crap this morning. Something hit me, and it's not fun. It was now high summer in the Michigan backcountry. And whatever this bug was, I still had to get some exploring in on such a beautiful day. I was generally making my way west, following trails near the Huron River. Eventually, I headed north, aiming toward the point where the river empties into the big lake. Well, this is the spot I had planned to camp tonight, but it literally took all of my energy and effort just to get a few shots of driving out here. This is called the Mouth of Huron on Overlander, and it is on the beach on Lake Superior. It's got a couple islands offshore. It's a beach. It's a very serene feeling. So I'm going to head on to the town of Lance. I'm not sure how to pronounce it. I still have something scheduled for tomorrow. We'll see if a day of rest is enough to allow that to happen. And it looks like there's some old trailers, old campers that are rusted out, and it'd be kind of creepy if they were occupied or someone was staying in them. Okay, well, I guess I'm gonna get a move on, eat some chicken soup, and hopefully in a couple days I can get back on the road and see more stuff. All right, we made it to, what is it, Baraga's Lakeside Inn. Let's go check in. How do you pronounce, is it Lance?
Like
It's lots.
lots.
Uh-huh.
Okay. Is that French? Or
I believe so.
So this is not lance.
Yeah,
It's berry.
very.
Okay.
This place might have been the friendliest hotel I'd ever stayed at. Plus, you could see Lance right across the bay. I rested enough to be on the move early the next morning. The Keweenaw Peninsula has some of the richest copper deposits in the world, and it was here, about 40 minutes from Baraga, that I figured I'd have a very good chance of finding some.
Probably the only one here today. Yeah, let's get the official. So, you are?
I'm Kale, and you are here at the Caledonia Mine. We do copper piles, we have singles and family piles. We also do dadolite piles. See if you can find any just right off the go. And then we kind of tell people to flatten it out and look through and flatten it out some more. So for the detector, you just got the on and off button there. Just turn it on. You just kind of run it over and it'll go off and you find copper on it.
Like a Casio keyboard.
It's like right here, this little piece of copper. Oh, cool. You can tell by the shape of it.
Here you go. Here's a big chunk. I just thought of an idea.
All right, let's test the let's test this thing on this. See if it actually.
Yep. Oh yeah, that would be just a little copper nugget.
It's very jagged, like almost prickly, kind of a turquoise, teal, greenish color.
Okay, here is a bigger piece of copper. It's very heavy. All right, I got some rocks cut and polished, or one rock, and I'm bringing the other rocks I dug up into the main office. So let's check it out.
This is your piece.
Yeah.
Just
Wow.
straight copper.
That's
through the
crazy.
Whole thing. That's
Wow.
a really, really nice looking piece. I still gotta polish it and buff it out.
It's
but
so shiny.
It's very
Let me
shiny.
get that on camera.
That was one of the longest cuts I've ever had.
Yeah. Wow.
Sometimes when you don't see it like obviously on the outside, then it's on the inside somewhere, and it's some of the prettiest cuts.
And your piles come from that mine over there? You go in there? Yeah.
I don't, but yeah, it comes from there.
Okay. That's copper. Oh yeah, that's huge.
Yeah, you can feel it. It's pretty heavy.
It's really, yeah, it's heavy.
Very dense.
This is the polished
Reveal.
specimen we found, the reveal. Good job cutting and polishing too.
It's my first customer cutting pulpit. So
Thank you so much.
there you go.
Caledonia Mine. So going back to the Lakefront Hotel. Is it Baraga? So I'm there for another day, one more day. Today's not a great day anyway to be out and about. I'm about to leave the Baraga Lakeside Inn and head east to Marquette. I've got a few places I think would be really cool places to explore. A couple other things I gotta take care of today too is one, yesterday and all that rain and those back roads getting down to Caledonia Mine, the Jeep got filthy. The other thing is I have all this copper ore in this big green bucket, which I don't want to keep in the Jeep for the rest of my trip. One last thing is I only brought one pair of hiking shoes with me, and yesterday they got caked in mud. I rinsed them off in the bathtub. They're cleaner, but they're still soaking wet. I don't know, I was thinking of putting them on the back shelf of the Jeep, hoping that the road wind will dry them off. All right, just gotta get a move on.
So I spent the day exploring Marquette. It's big into college sports and iron ore shipping. And of course, it had Lake Superior. I met another rock guy on the beach.
Oh, wow. Pure copper seam inside of it.
Yeah. The way that looks, it almost looks like some sort of jasper.
Michigan summer. You wanted to hold on to it. But it slips away into memory like waves coming and going. So you just enjoy it and let it go. Next day, I was back on the road and finally got to do a paddle.
Gorgeous evening here. Going to be light for a while. I just got through a 3-hour paddle out by Pictured Rocks.
Man wants to get a good workout in at the end of the day.
Okay. Unfortunately, my GoPro was the main camera. Of course, the battery read 100% at the beginning and it quickly dropped to 0. Yeah, it's a campaign for sure.
My paddling partner was a good sport. He agreed to buddy up with me, the solo guy, while his wife and 3 kids took 2 other kayaks.
Jason and me paddling away on Lake Superior.
You can't kayak all of Pictured Rocks in 3 hours. But the fun part was how you can get right up next to those colorful cliffs.
Smaller rocks are being carried by the river, and then once all the water dries out.
Here we go. Whoa.
There was supposedly a shipwreck below us, but I couldn't see it.
Like all things, like this trip wasn't as I predicted, or things happened of their own accord. I did 2 days ago go to urgent care. I've been on Zyrtec, just taking vitamin C and just trying to rest. I'm definitely feeling better. I stopped in town in Munising and got a burger, and I'm gonna enjoy that and then head over to the campsite. We'll show you where we're at tonight. Now I'm in for the night, and I am just going to get the camper set up. I left the table here all day, and I left that
tent set up all day, so the site didn't look empty. I'm gonna pop the top and climb on up, and I'll check back in with you guys tomorrow.
Well, morning here from the penthouse in the Michigan UP. As you can hear, this is another one of those kind of nice looking campgrounds that's quite close to a main road. My plan as I head east is to there's a network of forest roads just south of here in Munising.
I headed eastward via some ATV trails south of the lake. Looking out over the lake, its vastness and unexpected color made me feel I hadn't seen enough of what made this place epic and wild. Maybe something to do better on future adventures.
Well, I made it to the other side of Painted Rocks National Lakeshore via asphalt and ATV sand trails. I didn't accomplish every goal I set out to on this trip. I'll definitely come back armed with more knowledge for next time. And as usual, I really appreciate you hanging out and joining me as I travel around in my travels. And looking forward to going out on some other kind of adventure again real soon. Catch you next time.